Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I am your host, Jill Troderman of Feeding the Family, streaming live from SantaCruzVoice.com in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. So here's a question. When we unravel the knot, does the healing begin? Yes, says my next guest, Dr. Rachel Farber, acupuncturist. And that might sound to some a little bit woo-woo, but is it? Really, this is a philosophical statement that's rooted in anatomy and physiology and based on thousands of years of Asian Chinese medicine. So today I want to explore if it is indeed necessary that we check in with our inner self to figure out if we have any certain ailments or conditions that are being triggered by that. For instance, if you're running around, staying out late, not eating well, and then you pull your back out, is that a correlation? Or if you are in a toxic work situation or a relationship for years, even decades, and then you develop other kind of ailments, is that a link? Well, today I want to talk about these things and a lot more with Dr. Rachel Farber. Welcome.
Thanks, Jill. I'm so happy to be here with you.
All right. Well, I am so excited to have you. So let me share with our listeners a little bit more about your very interesting and deep history. So Dr. Rachel Farber is a licensed acupuncturist with over 25 years of clinical practice. She has also served on the faculty of Five Branches University and Yosan University teaching OB/GYN, clinical nutrition, and management of autoimmune disease. She uses natural approaches to help people feel and look their best with an emphasis on pain relief, autoimmune disease management, and holistic facial renewal. Rachel practices integrative Chinese medicine, including acupuncture, herbs, dietary therapy, cupping, gua sha, heat therapy, deep tissue massage, and microneedling. In addition to her clinical practice, Dr. Farber leads online groups in her 21-day seasonal reset programs designed to help participants practice gentle nourishment for optimal health. And she is also a certified yoga teacher, loves reading and baking, and hanging out with her kids, husband, and dog outdoors. That is quite robust. Well, welcome again.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we're going to be diving into healing your inner world to heal your physical world. And before the show, Rachel and I were talking about the title of my show, which is Feeding the Family. And maybe we could start off with your approach in holistic medicine and how that relates energetically to feeding our family and being in a well-rounded home environment.
That is a deep question.
I know, isn't it? Well, we could start off that you're an acupuncturist. And so I always think of acupuncture and Chinese medicine as about energy and qi and our vital life force. Is that correct? Am I on the right path with that?
Absolutely. And it sounds woo-woo already, right? When you talk about energy medicine or qi, but really every single living thing has qi, the life force energy that helps with breathing and metabolism, and even, plants have qi and trees have qi. It's just the life force that is moving through. And all of Chinese medicine, even though it can be very complex, can be boiled down to if your qi, your energy, is moving freely and there's plenty of it, then we are relaxed, happy, and healthy. And when qi energy gets stuck, that's when problems start to arise, mental and physical, and traffic jams, right? It's like a traffic jam in the body. So, when you talk about feeding the family, it's first taking care of yourself, right? The parents need to nourish themselves and be responsive and non-reactive, and then pass that along to the children. Much of Chinese medicine can be boiled down to like living a regular life, right? Respecting the rhythms of your body and the seasons.
Yeah, this is so great. I really resonate with all of those philosophies And I see that families pass down their stress and energy to their kids. And so that's really important when people are stressed out that they check that.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
that's
right?
not to say. I mean, we don't want to be parent shaming here, too, right?
No, no,
Because
no, 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 no. Of course not.
we know,
Hello.
I have certainly been, full on the spectrum of a stressed out mom, and
Yes. No, this is a show to help moms.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I want to
So
give
yeah,
knowledge
so I don't
to the
want
mama
to.
bears out there.
I know that I come across as very, calm and, got it together. But I think internally, so many of us have big issues. And I think we'll probably talk about it. I came to Chinese medicine because of a lot of my big emotional and physical issues that ended up getting kind of tied up together. So that's not to say that you have to have it all figured out or be, have this calm, serene environment all the time. But at the same time, understanding various perspectives of not only how Western nutrition works, but also about how we see the digestive system in Chinese medicine and how we see the seasons, kind of promoting health if we're living according to the seasons, then it's just another helpful tool because it's really challenging living in this modern world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I was thinking about that is just really projecting my own stress and how I've probably have done that to my kids, even though they're grown. I know when they get a call from me, they're like, "Oh no, what's that going to look like?" Because, we are. Life is intense right now for a lot of folks, and so I'm aware of my energy. And people say like, check your energy before you go to someplace, right? So I think that's really interesting that I like that we're bringing in the Eastern philosophy to us Westerners, because I think we really can learn a lot from that about what is our energy and how are we putting ourselves out into the world. And really why I wanted to have you on, Dr. Rachel, is because of this energy work that you do. And you have an interesting history yourself. So maybe you want to share about why you personally got into the field of acupuncture, and then we can go on from there on talking about digestion and autoimmune issues. And Dr. Rachel also is very interested and skilled at facial rejuvenation. So I think these things all play into each other. So you were, I guess, many years ago, a couple decades ago, you were struggling yourself with something serious.
Yeah. I'm 59, almost 60, and this was, from my early 20s. I had been a high achiever, went to a high-powered university, had a great job in publishing, and at the same time, on the inside, I had already started dealing with depression, and I developed an eating disorder, bulimia. And I fortunately had a doctor, a primary care provider, who when I stopped getting my period for a time, recommended that I go to acupuncture. And I went to an acupuncturist, Robin Germain, in San Francisco, pomegranate acupuncture, and also started therapy. And it was like and I was terrified of needles, by the way. I was a little kid who the doctors had to chase me around the office. Like I'd have 3 people hold me down to get an injection. So the idea of getting acupuncture was terrifying to me. And I remember the first time I went, I made her like hold my hand, or I asked her to, and she managed to do it while she was inserting the needles. I think about that often now because that is definitely awkward. And the needles are so teeny, teeny, tiny. But I just had this feeling about them. And so actually I've developed a really gentle style of acupuncture because even now I just don't like the idea of needles put in me, but even though they don't hurt at all. So I was terrified of needles, but I went through it and I could just feel the energy moving around my body like like I was a pinball machine, like the energy was just a pinball machine, just bouncing from point to point internally. It was really pretty profound, my first few treatments. And it just helped me be comfortable in my body in a way that I wasn't ever. I was just in my head and stressed out. And so in the process of getting the acupuncture, she also had me cook up herbs, like, really bitter tasting herbs, which was a whole journey to be safe in the kitchen because I'd already been an avid cook. I had a baker. So anyway, in the process of that, I could feel this knot in my belly. And during an acupuncture treatment, had just a realization, like when this knot that felt like anger, like can unravel, that's when my period is going to come back. And it's not going to be like today, but I could feel it happening. And then it did. So as much as acupuncture can sound really woo-woo, and even now, I mean, that was over 30 years ago. And I've worked with so many patients over the years. Every single time someone gets better, it still amazes me. Like when someone walks out of the office feeling better than they came in. I see like 50 or 60 people a week, but I still feel like, wow, this works.
It works.
But I really have a faith in the long-term ability for the body to change and heal based on my own experiences with the medicine.
Yeah, this is great. So I titled this show Unraveling the Knot to Heal Within. And so I think that's so thrilling that you physically could even imagine a knot inside of your body. And that is like the energy stuck, like it felt like, as you're describing that, a stagnant energy. Mm-hmm. So how does one get energy that gets tied up into a knot and then you released it and it unraveled and then it allowed your body to flow into its natural state where you could have homeostasis and you could have your period and feeling that calm and peace. So what happens to a person when they get that knot?
All kinds of things, right? I mean, we can have anger, we can have irritation, we can have depression, we can have all sorts of physiological issues, right? Including our metabolism not working effectively, increase cortisol, dysregulation of hormones.
So it can be
even
physiological,
inflammation, right? Joint, headaches, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, all of that. And also
like sitting bad at a desk for day after day after day after day, that can create like a quote unquote knot. Like physically, it will create a knot.
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking, like, it can be emotional, physical, being in a cold house that's drafty, that can get you unnerved. Driving around in traffic can get you unnerved. So all of these things are coming at us essentially.
Right. In Chinese medicine, we call them internal and external evils.
Oh, there's a name with evil in it. Okay.
Yeah. And, like you could get a cold draft blowing on your neck,
right?
And that if you're already a little prone or your immune system's down, that can do it. But you could also have energy that gets tied up internally that can then create like weather patterns inside, right? We look at things constitutionally, and we see the body as an ecosystem. So,
so weather is appropriate.
Yeah, weather is definitely appropriate, and so and we look at things like cold and damp and wind and dryness and heat. Obviously, they're all present within us and in our climactic system. It's when they get out of balance, and we all have constitutional tendencies and tend toward one of the, elements, right? But it's when it gets really out of whack, or we just don't know how to balance it ourselves.
Right.
That problems start to arise. It's okay if you're, some of us are really heated up, energetic people, right? And other people are a little more, cold, damp tendencies, quieter. We don't all have to be the same.
Right.
We just need to understand our constitution and resist this tendency toward cultural sameness.
Oh my gosh, cultural sameness. You're so funny, because I think we're all trying to strive for some common thing that's just never going to happen.
Right.
And that really has to do, like with me in holistic medicine, just aligning the mind, the body, and the soul, and really getting to know yourself. Even at our ages, I feel like I'm still learning who I am on many levels. So you found help with acupuncture. You unraveled your knot, and then you're still totally blown away that it can help people. Now, does somebody have to believe that it's going to help them? Do you think, or does it not matter? I don't even know why I brought that up.
Yeah,
but.
no, I love that. That's one of the questions I get most frequently. And then
Are
the
you
other
kidding?
question
really
I get is like, does it work?
Oh my gosh.
In which case I just say, no, it was my path to easy fame and fortune.
Okay.
But no, I don't think you have to believe in it.
Okay.
No, that said, not everyone's going to like it. It's not the right modality for everyone. If you absolutely can't stand needles put in you, probably, maybe body work is the best approach. But Chinese medicine, we have so many ways of approaching. It's not just acupuncture, right? We have Tui Na and lots of acupressure that can stimulate the points. We do have cupping and gua sha and herbs, and even food is a whole pharmacopoeia of herbal medicine too. So it doesn't have to only be acupuncture.
Sure. And one of the things that you were excited to work with people on is digestion. What part about digestion is exciting to you? Only the fact that it really impacts all of us.
Right.
And our health, right?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I feel like I had a really great, high school and undergraduate education, although my major was Russian studies. Okay. So I kind of avoided as much of the sciences as I could get away with until during my course of acupuncture treatment, I just got more and more interested in understanding the recommendations that my acupuncturist was giving me. And at the same time, I'd been working in publishing, but I had taken a massage class, a training, like a full certification, and realized I just really loved working one-on-one with people. And so decided just to go deep and it's a 3-year master's program in Chinese medicine. And you first have to do all many of your pre-med prerequisites, not all of them, but, physics, chemistry, and anatomy and physiology and all that. So in the course of anatomy and physiology, kind of for the first time in my life, I was introduced to how the digestive system really worked. And as someone with an eating disorder, that was really helpful to not just be like, oh, you eat and this like clump of food just hangs out there and what happens to it? Like, even though I felt like I was a pretty intelligent person, I really didn't have a great sense of how my digestive system worked from a Western perspective.
Sure. You and everyone else in the world,
Isn't
honestly.
That crazy? It should be taught. I mean, I know it is taught to some degree, but I seem to have missed some of those lessons.
Yeah, the importance of it.
Yeah, and just
critical.
The revelation of, how the small intestine absorbs nutrients and what happens in the large intestine. And and then the Chinese medicine way of looking at the digestive system is like the digestive system is the hearth of the body. And it's responsible for the transformation and transportation of the nutrients. So we take them in, but then they need to get in there to really create energy and give us, an energy we can use, keep the metabolism flowing, not weigh the body down. It's like the fertile earth that we don't want it too damp and boggy. but we also don't want it too hot and dry. And also, like a wood stove, it's not really great if you light it and then let it go out, and then you have to relight it. So if you're looking at your metabolic fire, you want to do what you can to keep your metabolism strong, not overload it with a lot of cold, damp food. In Chinese medicine, we see that having easy to digest nutrients where we don't fill up too much, but just enough, but we also don't go hungry. That balance. It's not as sexy or exciting or marketable as fad diets or
this is true.
It's like you were talking about the golden rules, right? Of just sleep and eat and hydrate and rest. But
it's not very exciting, and it's not the big moneymaker.
Exactly.
Sign up here for the course on really we're going to sleep. People are pass. Where's the next pill? Where's the sexy lady with the pill? I want her.
Exactly.
But digestion, so now it's cold, although not right now today because it's a hot summer day in California in January. But let's pretend it's a cold, rainy day. Yeah. We shouldn't be eating cold salads. We should be having stew. So this is true. It's not, well, to some it might be boring, but this is important to pay attention to the seasons for digestive fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, we all have different constitutions, so there's no hard and fast rules. But for those with more delicate or, who have challenges, then rebuilding the digestive lining and making sure that our intestinal flora has good variety,
sure.
Is really important. So seeding the gut with good bacteria, eating easy to digest food is what we're mostly looking for. That said, if someone has a really hot constitution or really high digestive fire, different people can handle more of raw foods. But it is interesting here in California how many patients I have who are struggling with digestion or menstrual issues or, fertility. And, I'm having a smoothie every morning and I'm having my kale salad every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just want to make sure that you're getting a good balance and that you're able to digest. And so we have lots of forms of diagnosis. We ask lots of questions, and we also feel the pulse and look at the tongue, because the tongue coating shows us a lot about the workings of the digestive system.
Sure. I'm sure everyone's excited to show you their tongue. They're like, no, let me go work on my digestion for 3 days and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
Right. But listen, I want to ask some more specific questions on what top 3 things would you recommend that people have in their diet? Like if you can come off the top of your head. And then let's get into some facial stuff, because I think the women out there and the dudes, because men folk really want to take care of their skin too. And I want to learn from you about the internal fire we want to keep going so we can have that glowing skin at any age, right? And be really okay with how our skin is aging. I want to normalize aging, right?
Good luck.
I know. Wait, isn't this the money-making show? Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, we're going to play a quick commercial. Hold on tight, everybody. I am your host, Jill Troderman, with Santa Cruz acupuncturist, Dr. Rachel Farber. We are back in the studio, streaming live from SantaCruzVoice.com. And with me, I've got Dr. Rachel Farber. We're talking about energy. I want to know, can you pick up other people's energy? I mean, I know that's yes is my answer, but can other people's energy really impact you if you're not aware? Like if you're around a negative person or even a super positive person? What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I do work with people all day. I feel like it's difficult for me to answer that just because I've been working with so many people, week in and week out,
right.
For so many years. there, when you are a body worker, energy worker, or something like that, there are lots of teachings about how to handle that, right?
Okay.
Some people like to put a protective bubble around themselves or envision this white light or, one thing, I mean, for me, it's about the hand washing.
Okay.
Because I wash my hands many, 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 many times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think early on, one of my teachers, taught us about kind of thorough hand washing that is also going to be energetically cleansing. So certainly for me, if I, after just working with so many people, if I am out and about and I shake somebody's hand or, touch a railing or something, I'm very aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe my friends do think I'm a germaphobe.
Okay.
So
Me too,
maybe
though.
there's that. So I don't know if that's energy, but I'm aware of if I have other people's energy on me. And I take a hot shower or a warm bath or a hot tub definitely after working. Like for me, I guess it's water and hot water that really helps to release that other people's energy, and being outside, of course. But of course, I mean, we have to all have connected energy. And if you look at the world, what's going on today, I just feel like I see that day in and day out, that even the people who aren't directly affected or don't think they're directly affected by what's going on in our government and our world come with their own individual presentation emotionally or physically. And, if you have the privilege, like I do, of seeing so many different people, you see, it's like, it's not just you.
Wow.
There's a lot of people. And again, I don't know if that's energy. That's just actually what's happening too. But I think people are connected to other people.
Yeah,
right?
I definitely believe that. Yeah. So I just wondering, as an acupuncturist, if that's something that you pay attention to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Just to keep that energy flowing, right? Because there's crazy energy out there and I don't want to absorb it.
Yes.
So I know when I feel all hot in my head from being overstimulated emotionally or mentally from things that are going on, often beyond my control, I first thing want to do is go outside.
Yeah, outside, 100%.
100%
Moving
outside.
your body.
Yeah, touching the plants.
Touching your dog.
Touching the dog, petting a dog, going in the dirt. To me, instantly, I feel like, okay, I can relax. And I actually forget what I was thinking about. Touch a tree. So I think that's really balancing and grounding. Connecting to nature. I really like that. And I think Chinese medicine has a lot to do with that.
Well, because we see the body as an ecosystem, right? And
yes.
so
That's such a good
we
analogy.
see that not only are we connected to nature, but that there's, a little cosmology going on. There's a book that I often recommend to anybody who's interested in Chinese medicine called Between Heaven and Earth. And it's by one of my mentors, Ephraim Korngold, and his wife, Harriet Beinfield.
Nice Chinese
old.
people. No.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a presentation of Chinese medicine and the 5 elements, and also the 5 elements from a somewhat of a Jungian perspective. So it's a really engaging book. There's lots of self-assessment quizzes, which people like, and a wonderful introduction to Chinese medicine. But anyway, it's
Neat.
called Between Heaven and Earth.
Okay, I'm going to write that down.
And
that sounds great.
that's where we see that people are. We're between heaven and earth.
Wow.
Right? So we have our place there.
Fascinating. Now, talking about nature, so chronologically, I'm getting older, it turns out. I'd like to stop the clock in certain areas. Now, some of the things that you're doing is facial rejuvenation. Can you share what that is? I know that's not going to be injecting pharmaceuticals. So there's some special words like cupping and gua sha.
Yeah. So I got interested in facial rejuvenation at, I guess, age 58, and suddenly realized, I mean, I had been hearing about it for years, and I had taken even some classes years ago, but felt like I wanted to concentrate on more serious medical issues, right? And
Right.
really dove deep into the world of autoimmune issues.
Right.
But suddenly for me was an awakening of, okay, looking at my face, what's the plan here? Right? You know, how are we going forward? And we have lots of choices. And holistic facial rejuvenation doesn't have to be mutually exclusive with doing other more intense things. And so I think that's an important thing to note. Like it is different approaches and different ways of looking at the face, but you don't have, just like with Western medicine and Chinese medicine, you don't have to choose. We're really lucky to live in a time where we have so much available to us.
We can do a little of this, a little of that, right? Mix and match.
Yeah. But what I realized is, oh, wow, these tools of Chinese medicine that have helped me with my emotional state and helped me with my digestive system and helped me with my, food addictions and helped me with my autoimmune diseases. Here they are for me at this phase of life. What do you know? And it's really helping to stimulate and condition the skin. So the modalities that we're talking about are facial acupuncture, microneedling, which is really powerful way of stimulating collagen and elastin, facial cupping, gua sha, and then I just loved all this so much that last year I ended up getting certified in neo-lifting, which is not really Chinese medicine, but it's sculptural facial massage that includes intraoral buccal massage, like with gloves on, to really help stimulate some of the internal muscles in the cheek and jaw. And
like to release the lymph in there.
Yes, release the
muscle tension. Tell people what you're
absolutely releasing the lymph, helping to release some of the depressor muscles that are pulling things down.
Right.
While we're also kind of trying to stimulate the levator muscles.
Right.
And then there's all kinds of other muscles
like
in
the
there
jowls, because we're not on camera, so she's pointing to her jowl.
We're both pointing to our jowls.
Right.
Lifting where we want to lift and also releasing some of the muscles that are pulling down, as well as a lot of lymphatic drainage.
Wow.
And also doing a lot of stimulation of the scalp, like so many of the muscles, right? The temporalis muscle goes up into the scalp, as well as working in the lymph and that large platysma muscle that, comes down the neck and across the chest. So lots of muscles in there, lots of lymph nodes. And so we can stimulate collagen and elastin, help to stimulate some muscles, relax other muscles, increase microcirculation of, just blood, do some lymphatic drainage, and then the microneedling is really helping to tighten everything up, as well as deal with some of the like sunspots and discoloration, as well as fine lines. So altogether, it's not plastic surgery. It's not going to have the same result as that, but it's going to really condition the skin. And there are so many at-home techniques that people can use that, I've can help people develop a program so that something that they can use that as much as or as little as they want. Some people want to do a lot, right? And other people,
right?
Like, it's enough that I brush my teeth, right?
No doubt.
Don't give me one more thing to do.
No, that's not a joke. Who's curling their eyelashes? I don't know. I don't do that. But there are teenagers using Botox. I'm just saying that. And I see
the baby Botox.
I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. And
so those girls need to just stress out less and do the, lymph drainage. Who knows? I'm judging. I am judging. I am. I'm sorry.
It's not necessarily wrong. I think that Botox is a really different thing from fillers, right? And there's room for people to make whatever choices, but I want people to know about, like, oh yeah, wait, what can I do to stimulate the circulation in my own skin and stimulate collagen and
Yeah, that seems
the
real.
beauty of Chinese medicine,
Yeah, I mean, that seems like something that we can all do at home, that you're not like, oh, I have to, save $30,000 and go under the knife. This seems like a natural protocol that we can do, even if you're going to go do some other more extreme things.
Well, and even if you do decide at some point to go under the
Yeah,
knife,
like I might someday. Talk to me in 10 years. I might
not
look
ruling
different.
anything out, but
I'm not.
doing everything you can to take care of your skin
Right.
and keep it as healthy and vibrant as possible makes sense.
Yeah, and also just the fact that you're draining your lymph. That seems like a legit thing that we need to be doing. That's part of our detoxification pathways.
Absolutely.
Right, and then just release, people can break teeth with tension in their jaws. So just the fact that you might actually get, a little facelift and relaxation at the same time, I think there's that's a pro.
I think so. And, with for people who want it, when I do facial treatments, we always include acupuncture in the body or the ears. So people still get to have that acupuncture feeling as well as, the facial massage and scalp massage and gua sha and the cupping. And so it tends to be really deeply relaxing, which of course also relaxes the tension. I think an interesting thing is how many people find, even with chronic neck problems, which I work a lot on neck issues in general, but how much the facial protocols relax jaw tension, neck tension, chronic headaches, things like that, just by releasing so much of that.
Yeah, I just feel more relaxed just talking about this. I'm getting a placebo facelift right now.
Perfect.
That's right. Do I look glowing? I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
Do I? She's teasing, but and so there's different tools that you can hold, like jade. Is this true? These, can you use a metal spoon at home or no? Do we really want these beautiful tools that Chinese medicine?
If you were going to use a spoon, you'd want to use like a ceramic spoon, probably, because a metal spoon might be a little sharp.
Got it.
But you could use the backside of it, right? So you can use, you can even, just start some lymphatic drainage down your neck, and over your clavicle, just with your hands. There's lots you can do with your hands, and then doing gua sha. I like to sometimes do gua sha and cupping in the bath because. And
gua sha is that's what you're talking
like
about.
Like what you're saying, the jade. Although there's a few other stones you can use.
Right, and I've seen that on the TV or whatever computer stuff.
And if you are doing it, I just recommend doing some lymphatic drainage first, right, before you start your upward motions.
Well, I'm going to have to come in and get a treatment from you first so I can learn how to do this. And then cupping. I think I had a cupping a long time ago, and then my somebody I know helped me out because I did pull my back out. That example I used in the very beginning.
That was you.
That was me. I was really just running around, not doing anything very exciting, and I did pull my back out for no good reason except I wasn't paying attention to my inner state. I'm just going to own that. That's why I was really excited to talk to you about energy, that we can not pay attention to ourselves. And I had to, have a sore back for like 5 days. So I got a cupping thing, and I think it helped instantly. So can you share with our listeners out there what cupping is and how it works? And especially, I've never heard it being used on the face. Can you share about that too, Rachel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Farber?
Yes. So cupping is basically, creating a vacuum that's going to suck up your, skin and some of the fascia and muscle inside a cup. And you might have seen, I remember like Michael Phelps had done some cupping, and I found that people knew about it after he was showing off pictures of, the circular cut marks on his back. And traditionally, it's been used with what they call it fire cupping, and like waving an alcohol-soaked cotton ball of fire in a glass cup that's going to, create a vacuum. So when you put it down on the skin, so you're not putting fire on the skin. Now, there are a lot of like little suction cup devices, or even like silicone cups where you can just kind of squeeze some of the air out, and then it will create a suction onto the body. So lots of at-home cups and things like that. And we do stationary cupping, but then there's also moving cupping. And so a lot of what the cupping's doing is getting circulation going into an area and helping to release some of that fascia layer that's between the skin and muscle, right? So just kind of getting loosening things up and getting some more suppleness when it feels like that muscle is just gripped tight, right? That helping to open up the fascia. I like skin rolling too for that, that you can kind of just access the fascia that way. So on the face.
So can you just say one more time? The fascia is below the
between
the skin.
Yeah, between the skin and the muscle.
And the muscle.
Right.
And so it's not really muscle, but it is like fibrous that creates tension.
Right.
And I guess it holds us together.
Right.
Or
exactly.
Parts,
yeah.
Right?
And it's like there's sheaths of fascia. So
so you want to release that tension so then the muscles underneath can relax, and then the blood
and we're also aiding blood flow with cupping. So with facial acupuncture, I only ever do, and I've actually only ever seen moving cupping. And if you're doing it on yourself, because there are at-home facial cups sets, which is great, but you want to be very delicate. It's easy to do too much, right? And create a little bruise, which is temporary. It's not a terrible thing, but of just not having too much suction and just getting the lymph moving. And again, usually doing some like drainage first, and then getting some flow with the cups. It feels really nice.
Yeah, I'm just relaxing, honestly, just thinking about it. And the lymph. So the lymph doesn't have a pump system like other parts of our body with our other detoxification pathways. So the lymph is all over what's in our necks and our underarms and our groin, right? So it's really important that we either jump up and down every day on a rebounder. But what you're sharing is another thing for our face. Right?
And I think lots of physical movement can help move the lymph, right?
In general.
I know a rebounder can help, but I think just staying moving and active and hydrating and doing all that is really useful. It doesn't have to be a fancy tool. Because the other thing that I was thinking about, talking about the cupping and releasing some of the muscles, is it can be really profound to do work on the face.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, if you think about it, like we wear this mask of ourselves, right? How do we hold our face? Are we always smiling? Do we have resting bitch face? Can we say that on here? Are we having a strong brow furrow and, anger or confusion? And so to relax some of these habitual holding of the muscles not only can affect how our face looks, but also how we feel. We're like removing the mask. Yeah,
that's really fascinating. I wonder if people are aware of what their resting bitch face looks like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like to be a smiley person in the world. Like I'll smile out at random people on the street, in my car, to my kids' shame and embarrassment. But so how do we want to hold our face?
Yeah.
Do we want to have like a relaxed face? Do we want to have it like upward smile?
Right, for the muscle tone, you mean?
For your muscle tone.
I think a little upward smile.
Like an inner smile that relates to an outer smile.
Exactly. And what's interesting, when people come in for facial renewal, rejuvenation, the lines that bother most people the least are like the crow's feet, the smile lines, right? That people are more concerned about their jowls, their forehead lines,
really,
right? The marionette lines,
right?
Here. And
the neck creeping,
and the neck,
Those are the areas. Those are the hot spots that people are concerned about.
Yeah. and I'm not saying people don't care about these smile lines, but that tends to be something that doesn't bother people as much.
Interesting. Do you think people are more concerned with their inner physiology or their outer looking? And we're not throwing anyone. This is just I don't know. Questions come to my mind.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Or both. It could be. Maybe it depends on the phase of life, what people's things are going on.
Right. Maybe that's what differentiates the hippies and the non-hippies. It's the dividing line.
Right.
The inner life and the outer presentation. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think
we all want to age well.
The people who come to me probably care more about how they feel inside.
Okay.
Probably a self-selecting group.
True. Well, it's important, I think, because people, how you feel, both and, right? Mm-hmm. How you feel on the inside is going to impact your outer look.
Yeah.
If you have stomach problems all day long, or if you've got massive headaches, that's going to show.
Well, and it's interesting how, we touched on the 5 elements. It's a really fascinating part of Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
But, and I know we only have a few minutes, so
we
you can read more about it in Between Heaven and Earth. But
what are the 5 ones? Can you share that? Let's see.
Yeah. Well, metal,
air,
water, wood, earth, and fire. Mm-hmm. And they're all associated with different organ systems and even different tastes and smells and emotions. And so physiologically, like when we're having a problem with one of those associated elements and its organ system, there's certain emotions that can arise due to these imbalances and imbalances that can arise due to the emotions. So sometimes the emotions can be also physiological in a way.
That's fascinating, right? So if you're angry, then it's going to manifest as...
Well,
what?
One example could be...
theoretically.
Yeah, like the liver, the wind,
right.
This tightness or congestion,
right. Or heart.
Premenstrual issues can be associated with that. And this isn't absolutely diagnostic. There's lots of things that could be in play. The kidneys, that's associated with the water, and the color is black, and the cold is the feeling, and there can be even fear is the associated emotion, and that's the associated with the winter time. So a time when we really want to protect, our midsection and our low back, and
keep that warm.
Yeah, stay warm and cozy and safe.
Safe, right? It's the time of the year, and that makes sense. It's cold, it's winter, we want to hunker down, make sure our homes are secure, and we've got a nice warm fire going, cozy time. And that's what this whole talk was about, really healing our inner world to help heal our outer physical world, right? So you are just so interesting to talk to. I love this. I really do. I like the energy medicine and how it translates to our outer world. And hopefully it will translate out into our bigger outer world. And maybe we have, a healthier planet and humans on it, because I sure do want that for everybody, including myself and my family. Okay, so we've only got a few minutes left, Dr. Farber. What is your website? Where can people find you? Because we are streaming across the planet.
Yeah, it's rachelfarber.com. It'll be changing soon. So, but I have a website up there now, and I have a little pause on the seasonal resets, but I think I will be doing another one in the spring. And they're a lot of fun because it introduces you to a lot of these aspects of Chinese medicine, and it's kind of a gentle approach to optimal nourishment. So very non-dogmatic, but an opportunity to take a few weeks and treat yourself the way you'd like to be treated for 3 weeks, so that you can feel your best and get out there and do your great work in the world.
I love that. So check out Dr. Farber's website. She's in Santa Cruz, California. And I'll reintroduce myself, Jill Troderman. I've mentioned my name a few times, and you can check out my website. I have a private practice where I like to focus on family, wellness, children's health, mental health, hormone balance, and general nutrition, just straight up the basics. In fact, I have a 6-week course coming up called the Food Tree Holistic 101 class series for parents, and we are starting next Tuesday. So I'd love to fill that class up with a lot of amazing parents who really just want to learn the basics of nutrition. It's not complicated, but like what Rachel's talking about, these are foundations of nature. Once you learn that we are really connected to our natural world and to the food system, everything becomes so much more simple and easy and effortless. So I'd really love all these parents to join me. So the class is from 10 to 11:30 on Tuesdays, January 20th to February 24th. So please sign up. Again, I'm Jill Troderman, and I'm joined by the wonderful Dr. Rachel Farber. So tune in next week, and I'm going to be tuning out. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks so much, Jill, for having me.
Yeah, it was really fun to talk to you. And that book you recommended was, again,
Between Heaven and Earth.
Right. So check out all this good natural healing that we have available to us. All right. Lots of love, everybody, and peace out.